You sat in a restaurant about to call it a night, sat drowning in couples on dates, drowning in candlelight. There's this one pair, say 3 months in the twilight zone. She sits there giving him the eyes, and he sits there staring at his iPhone. The next pair are around about something domestic. She's explaining how the washing machine works, and he's pretending to get it like, okay, Helen, but isn't that your job? Helen sighs. Finally, murmurs from the far side of the room reach a peak. That girl over there crossed a line. Told a guy that night they'd had sex and she'd said, no, now's not the time, and it happened anyway. It wasn't okay, not in her eyes. Look, it won't happen again, he compromised, but his eyes said otherwise, and her eyes screamed desperate cries. She was ready to shout. The truth is, you don't give a fuck, boy. When's the last time compliments ever made us feel confidence, not lost? Boys brought up in a world where 2 + 2 equals 3 guys, 1 girl, where Pornhub is a second home and sex offenders get off on loan for money and tips about their tips. How the tide turns when you're having fun. Her low-cut dress, an invitation to a meal for one. A street at night is not a street, it's a playground for a fight, is a chance to feel alright in some stranger's pants whilst they're panting for breath. No has no place in your dictionary, neither does stop or love or missionary. How do you sleep at night? Do you tuck yourself in tight so you don't fall through your shell of a self? I've seen relationships crumble in the palms of angry men. I've heard the slow collapse of a broken home. I've tasted the bloodline that ensures violence and again, and I felt the fevered head of an expectant mother breathing for 2 on her own, and that's just the surface. The surface of skin faded yellow and marbled with bruises, the apology given by payments of lace underwear and cruises. There's guys I like. The kind that know kind is a word, not a victim. The type that think pain isn't only made by inflicting. The type that bring flowers and talk for hours about how it's sad but true that you don't see yourself how he sees you. Because to him it's all a game that he's been brought up learning the rules of, that breaking the rules is okay cause everyone does it. And you wonder why we give you the 2s when you pass in your skull white van beeping the view, cause up there in your chariot of ivory you're untouchable, whilst we're made to feel touched and uncomfortable. You made us cautious, hide away our daughters, hide our skin, and it's not just vitamin D we're lacking in, it's respect. She takes a breath, the girl from the table. But instead of a perfect yawn flowing from her jaws, she sits and sips on a glass of white wine, passing the time. That night they go back to their apartment. That is wet and damp with false starts and battle gear, littered with fake dreams, a little domestic sphere, infected and infested with a domestic fear of abuse. That night he leads her to an unassuming bed, assuming she'll want to give him head. But she doesn't realise that whilst they meet between the sheets, her mind is praying against it, her mind is saying no retreat, screaming at volume so loud she cannot speak.